When people talk to me about, wanting to start in residential assisted living, but all the obstacles that they're going to have to face, like the financial objection, right? People will say this all the time. Well, your course is too expensive. Okay, well, college was expensive, and are you using your degree? Most likely not. Okay, a lot of courses, you can be paying a lot of money, but if you're not going to do it, then guess what? It is expensive. So I don't want you to take this course unless you're actually going to take action, unless you're actually going to make it happen and go open a care home. Why do I want your money if you're not going to go do something? Don't take the course unless you are ready to take a move and make action. It is a financial commitment. And when you say, well, I'm scared to do RAL, I don't have any capital to start, I don't know how I'm going to fund this business. Well, in our training, we show you how to do this without using your own capital. And that's a beautiful thing right there, because so many businesses, you do have to put in all the money up front. But with RAL, you don't. We show you the 7 ways to fund your RAL and how to create your own business plan. So when you get in front of these investors, listen, you're going to know what to say. You're going to have all the stats, all the demographics. You're going to have all the information and answers so that they want to invest in you. And that's really cool. You know what is too expensive? Being slapped upside the head, finding out that your loved one needs assisted living. That expense is one that you can't always anticipate. Many times you're seeing your loved one, they fall and break their hips, their memory starts to really go, and all of a sudden you've got to make a decision like that. And that's what's scary. That's what's expensive, because how are you going to come up with $5,500 overnight to pay for your loved one's monthly care? I mean, when you have a kid, you get 9 months to prepare for their, costs, okay? If they're going to go to daycare, you can budget that in. If they're going to get a nanny, you can budget that in. If someone's going to quit their job and take care of them, you can budget that in. When it comes to senior housing, it's not 9 months. Many times it's days. Many times it's hours for you to decide. When someone comes for a tour in our care home, they're not moving their loved one in 6 months. They're moving their loved one in within a day or two. That's drastic. How are you going to come up with the finances to do that? So if the course is too expensive, just wait till you have to pay for care and assistance. That's going to be too expensive too. Another thing people talk about when they say, I don't know if I can make it out to Phoenix for 3 days, the time commitment. Listen, if you're not willing to come out for 3 days to learn how to step by step start your new business, then you're not willing to start the new business, because it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of effort. And 3 days is nothing. Those 3 days are going to save you hundreds of thousands of dollars of mistakes that you would be making if you went at this alone. They're also going to connect you with people in the industry, so you have friends and others surrounding you who can show you how to do this so that you're not going at this alone. That time commitment, those 3 days, you need to be investing at least 3 days in the education around this. But we, with 10 years of experience, are laying it all out there for you. We've spent tens of thousands of hours putting together this course. When we show others how to do this in all 50 states, we follow up with them. We see what they're learning along the way too, and then we add that in for you. And that's a beautiful thing right there, learning from the number 1 experts in the country how to do this, so you don't have to make those mistakes. Maybe you're thinking, well, the liability. How much is it going to cost? And what happens if I get sued? Okay, listen, first, deep breath. Liability insurance is about $2 to $3 per day per resident. It's a line item. With 10 residents, let's call it $900 a month. You definitely want it. You definitely need it, okay? And the reality is, I want to congratulate you right now, because thank you for thinking about the safety of the seniors. Thank you for thinking about the safety of the caregivers and yourself as a business owner. You actually sound like a person who should be in this business. So I would love to work with you. I'd love to show you how to do this, because when people come to me and they're all about the cash flow, all they care about is the money, I'm like, I don't think you're the right person for this. But the fact that liability and are these seniors going to be safe, am I going to be safe, is on your heart and mind, that means you're thinking about the right things. And I love that. I'll also say this, in the training, we cover what companies to work with to protect yourself as a care home owner, because we live in a litigious society. I'm not denying that senior care homes don't get sued all the time. 10 years in this business, we've never been sued. I want to show you how to do that too, how to make a safe and secure investment so that you are not worried about what happens if something happens. we give you lots of tips in the training to avoid those things so that you don't even have to worry about the what ifs, because they're all handled up front. And that's what you need to know. I love where your heart's at. I love where your mind's at. But deep breath, we got your back. You might be thinking, this sounds great. I want to start a care home. I want to own and operate one, but I don't want to work in the home. Well, deep breath, the reality is we don't work in our homes, and we don't show you how to be the licensed administrator or the licensed caregiver. We show you how to own and operate the business. And that's really the place you want to be, not the one living in the home, working in the home. That's not what we're doing. If that's the type of training you want, go to somebody else. That's what they'll show you how to do. We want to show you how to own and operate the real estate, how to cash flow, and do this quite passively. I spend about 5 hours a week on my care homes and visit them maybe every other month. It's really not that much time commitment, and that's a cool thing for you, because if you're thinking, hey, maybe you love your job or you want to spend more time with your kids, you will have that time freedom. Financial freedom buys you time freedom. When people say money doesn't buy happiness, I think they're forgetting that money buys you time freedom. And that is happiness, right? For those of us who have time freedom, we know that that's all we're all looking for. And that's a beautiful thing right there. When you come to our training, we show you how to hire the right people, to get the right people in the right seats, so that you're not getting called when a caregiver calls off shift, so that your manager knows what to do and they're being held responsible and capable of doing that task that you hired them to do. But if you don't know what to look for, you're going to make a mistake when you're hiring. So coming to the training is going to be your first step. If you're worried about finding the right location for your assisted living, don't worry. We show you how in our training. We walk you through the demographic research, what to look for, what to avoid, and maybe a home that you already own, could be a good fit, or maybe it's not. But it's important before you get started, before you start busting down walls and renovating the home, that you know what to be looking for. Location is key. At the end of the day, this is a real estate investment opportunity, and we don't want you making that big mistake right up front. So educate yourself so that you can save time, energy, and money.
Val, what's your biggest fear in an REL?
My biggest fear is not enough quality people getting into this industry. My biggest fear is the big boxes taking over, buying us all out, and not having quality homes for our seniors. My biggest fear is bad people starting these care homes and abusing and neglecting our seniors. My biggest fear is not having enough beds for seniors, and families being in financial ruin, financial crisis, not being able to care for their loved ones, and wondering, is there any other options? My biggest fear is people who are the right people being scared to even get started in this because they don't know where to begin. Our mission with the REL Academy is to positively impact 10 million seniors through residential home environments. And it scares me when I think that people are not wanting to get into this, or they think that the Brookdale will do the job. But yet I hear horror story after horror story of that not happening, and these families being left disappointed, paying way too much money and not getting the quality care that they deserve. It's my biggest nightmare to have a terrible last 3 years of my life. I know some of you probably think that same thing, and I don't want that to happen for me, for you, for any one of our loved ones. We need more people in this industry, point blank, period. We're 1.3 million beds short, and the NIC is projecting we're only building 50,000 beds per year. That is a crisis. The supply is not there and the demand is off the chart. We need more people in this industry. So I'm not fearful of competitors. I'm not fearful of, what it takes to get a care home up and running. I'm fearful of not enough people jumping in. That's really my biggest fear.